going to do a quick review of a new gun that I picked up recently. Well, this one actually is new for 2014. It's the M&P Bodyguard Crimson Trace 380. Changed out the laser. It's Crimson Trace, not the Insight laser that was before. You can see the buttons now red instead of gray. The slide has undercuts, more like a typical M&P would look. It's got the fish scale serrations. I had an older generation Bodyguard, just one back from this, and this texturing on the back strap and the front strap feels more aggressive to me. You can definitely feel this bites into your hand a little bit better, more like the Talon grips, the sandpaper grips. Trigger's still exactly the same as it was before. Long trigger pull. They haven't changed the trigger at all, as far as I can tell. The laser, though, definitely the button's a nicer push to it now. It's got a little kind of little click to it. Very easy to actuate. Before you kind of had to give it quite a bit of force. This one, it's more like a little tack switch underneath. It clicks under your finger. You can feel it. The other thing you notice too is if you go to replace the batteries on this, this whole laser assembly will actually lift right out. Comes with a typical one extended base plate, one not. I went ahead and did the mag guts change so you can actually hold 7 rounds in this now. It's quite a unique little system. I suggest anybody has a Bodyguard, go ahead and get it. There's other reviews showing how it all works, but basically it's 2 springs. Take out your old follower springs, replace it with these, and now you can get 7 rounds in each mag. Quite interesting. The other thing I've noticed about the Bodyguards is a lot of people are having trouble with this lever, taking it apart and popping it back in again. When I push it around, I gotta actually use the mag to push it. If I can actually get it. And you have to go all the way around at 9 o'clock, which it does say in this manual now to turn it around to 9 o'clock, and then it should come right out. I know Hickok had a lot of trouble with his, but this one pops right out once you get to 9 o'clock. Take it apart, the internals are basically the same again, so you know it says Crimson Trace there, and that whole section will come right out. When you go to put it back together, this is what I've noticed how it goes back together the best. Make sure the barrel's forward. Put it back in the same position it'll be once it's in its final rest position. Put it here, press down, and then rotate it back to 9 as you're giving it pressure. When you get back to 9 o'clock, it pops in, and then you rotate it back the other way, and it pops in no problem. There's none of that fiddling back and forth trying to get it to fit. Start in this position, rotate it around, it kind of snaps in, then you rotate it back, and it snaps right back into place, no problem. No fiddling, no diddling around with it. Smith & Wesson must have changed the mag release on this version. There must have been something wrong with the other one, I'm not sure. Mine never had a problem, but I've seen it in a couple of videos now where going to insert the mag and you have to really push hard to get it in there. Mine actually, the first day I had this is now 3 weeks back from Smith & Wesson, or I just got it back from Smith & Wesson, took 3 weeks. First night I had it, I tried to push it in and it broke. Popped a piece of plastic right out to the top because I was trying to force it in. I don't suggest you do that unless you feel like sending your gun away. It's definitely a little bit better back from Smith & Wesson, but what also I did is I took the sharp edge off of this part of the mag, just filed it down a little bit, broke that sharp edge with the new one. A little bit of effort, but it goes in. It wasn't like before. It would not go in unless I slammed it. When I slammed it, it broke. The other thing I can say about the Bodyguard, which I wasn't very impressed with, the rails inside, which are steel, all steel, which is kind of nice for a small polymer gun. When I went inside the lube this gun, that edge was like a serrated knife edge. It was all burred up. I went inside and with a file and cleaned that all up. I wasn't really impressed with Smith & Wesson on that point. The other thing too, this is the second Smith & Wesson I've got where the sights are definitely drifted over to the left. You set the sights up and take a look at the laser, and the laser is off to the left. making me believe that if I just drifted these sights over slightly to the right, it would line up with the laser, but I'm going to check that out later. The other one that I had the same problem with my shield. Sights were actually drifted over to the left. I had to break them loose, and push them to the right to get them to line up, so that the groupings were actually shooting center instead of to the left. Anyway, that's the quick review. I'm going to go ahead and do the Galloway Precision trigger kit. Try and shorten up my trigger travel a little bit. This is just too long, and I'll let you know what happens. Okay, just completed the trigger bar and trigger replacement assembly of the Galloway Precision parts. I gotta tell you, I really like it. It wasn't that difficult to do. It took about 20 minutes. You replace the trigger bar. Theirs is just a little bit shorter, and it looks like, if I remember correctly, there's a little cut in this piece, but anyway, the biggest part is it's a little bit shorter. Plastic trigger is replaced now with an aluminum trigger. It has 2 set screws in here, so you can take up any of the play, any of the pre-travel. There's like maybe not even a 1/16 of an inch now on mine, pre-travel wise. Any more than that, and you're going to risk it not resetting properly, it seems to me. And then, it's very quick compared to before. See if you can see this or not. Yes, I already checked to see if it was clear. I'm not going to shoot myself in the hand. Very quick trigger. And quick reset too. Well, you still have to go all the way out. Trigger has to go all the way out to reset. And it's a much quicker trigger. The travel's been taken up a lot. Definitely feels lighter too. I don't know if he made it so the hammer doesn't go back quite as far, and that's why he has a heavier spring. And I haven't done the rest of the part inside the slide yet because I have sights coming, and I'm going to wait and do that. Replace the firing pin and the blocker spring later when I have to take the sights off. Anyway, very impressed with the trigger so far.